Captain Lee Hyun stood on the bridge of the UES Determination and watched the alien space station grow larger on the main screen. The station was huge, much bigger than anything humans had ever built. Its strange metal surface gleamed under the light of 3 different suns. "Sir, we are getting a message from the station," said Lieutenant Park Mina from her post. She was the best language expert Earth had. If anyone could talk to aliens, it was her. "Put it on speakers," Hyun said. He straightened his blue uniform. This was the most important day in human history. First contact with alien life. The message came through in broken English. The voice sounded like grinding metal mixed with clicking sounds. "Human ship, you will dock at port 7. Do not bring weapons. Do not resist. Follow our rules." Commander Kim Tae, who stood next to the captain, frowned. "Not very friendly, are they?" "Maybe that's just how they talk," Hyun said. But he felt worried too. The message sounded more like orders than a welcome. The Determination was not a big ship. It carried only 50 people. Most were scientists and diplomats. Earth had sent their best people to make a good first impression. They brought gifts of art, music, and food. They wanted to show aliens that humans were peaceful. As their ship moved closer to the station, Hyun could see other alien ships. They were dark and covered in sharp spikes. They looked like they were made for war, not peace. "Captain," said Mina, looking at her computer screen, "I am reading the station's signals. It has very strong weapons, much stronger than ours." Kim Tae nodded. "I see them too. Energy cannons everywhere. This place is a fortress." Hyun tried to stay calm. "Remember, we are here to talk. Maybe they just like to be safe." The docking took an hour. When it was done, a new message came through the speakers. "Humans will come to meeting hall. Bring 3 people only. Leave all technology behind." Hyun picked Mina and Tae to come with him. They walked through a long metal tube that connected their ship to the station. The air smelled strange, like burnt plastic and rotten eggs. The meeting hall was enormous. The ceiling was so high that Hyun could not see the top. Strange lights floated in the air without any wires. Around a huge oval table sat the most amazing creatures Hyun had ever seen. One looked like a giant insect with 6 arms and 4 eyes. Its skin was shiny black and green. Another was covered in scales like a lizard, but it was as tall as 2 humans. There were others too, some that glowed with their own light, some that looked like walking rocks. At the head of the table sat the biggest creature of all. It had the insect look but was much larger. When it spoke, all the other aliens became quiet. "I am Quindle, Prime of the Council," it said in that grinding voice. "You are the humans from the small blue planet." "Yes," Hyun said, trying to sound confident. "I am Captain Lee Hyun. We come in peace. We want to learn about your people and share knowledge." Several aliens made sounds that might have been laughter. It was not a nice sound. A red-scaled alien leaned forward. "I am Rathan of the Soros Federation. Human, you do not understand your place. You are children playing with fire. We have watched your species for some time. You are violent and stupid." Hyun felt his face get hot with anger, but he kept his voice calm. "We may be young compared to you, but we are not stupid. And we are trying to be peaceful." "Peaceful?" another alien said. This one looked like it was made of living crystal. "Your planet fights wars every day. You destroy your own home. You kill your own kind for pieces of metal and dead plants." "We have problems," Mena spoke up, "but we are getting better. We have stopped many wars. We work together now more than ever before." The insect leader Quendel waved a clawed hand. "Enough talk. We did not bring you here to chat. We brought you here to give you a choice." The hall became very quiet. Han could hear his own heart beating. "Your species will join the Galactic Council," Quindle continued, "but not as equals. You will be a protected species. We will keep you safe from the dangers of space." "What does that mean exactly?" Tay asked. Rathan smiled, showing many sharp teeth. "It means you give up your weapons, all of them. You give up your spaceships. You give up your dreams of exploring the stars. In return, added the crystal alien, we will give you basic technology, medicine to help your sick, food machines to feed your hungry. Simple things that children need. Hyan felt cold inside. And what do you want from us? Your planet has many good things, Quindle said. Metals we need, water we can use. And your people can work for us. 40% of everything your planet makes will come to us. It is a fair trade. 40%? Maina whispered. You should be happy, Rathan said. Most species give us 60%. We are being kind because you are so young and weak. Hyan looked at his two friends. He could see the same thought in their eyes. This was not friendship. This was slavery with nice words. We will need time to think about this, Hyan said carefully. The aliens made their laughing sounds again. Think? Said the crystal being. What is there to think about? You have no choice. Look around you, human. Do you see our power? Do you understand how small you are? We have 3,000 ships in this system alone, Rathan added. Your entire planet has maybe 50 ships that can barely reach your own moon. You cannot fight us. You cannot run from us. You can only obey. Quindle stood up. The creature was even bigger than Hyan had thought. You have 30 of your Earth days to give. U.S. your answer. If you say no, we will come to your planet and take what we want anyway, but then we will not be so kind. While the aliens talked and threatened, Maina was quietly looking around the room. She had a small device hidden in her sleeve. It looked like a simple metal bracelet, but it was actually a very advanced scanner. While pretending to be scared, she was learning everything she could about alien technology. What she found surprised her very much. The alien weapons were strong, yes, but they were also very old. Their computers were slow. Their shields were simple. Everything the aliens had was at least 100 years behind what humans could build, but she did not let her face show what she was thinking. We understand, Hyan said to the aliens. We will return to Earth and talk to our leaders. Thank you for this opportunity. Good, Quindle said. Do not take too long to decide. We are not patient creatures. As the three humans walked back to their ship, Tay whispered, Did you see how they looked at us? Like we were insects. I saw, Hyan replied quietly. I also saw something else. What? Manas thought Hyan smiled, but it was not a happy smile. I saw aliens who think they know everything about humans. They think we are weak and stupid. Maybe it is time to show them what humans are really like when someone tries to make us slaves. Back on their ship, as they prepared to return to Earth, Maina was already working on her scanner data. What she had learned would change everything. The aliens thought humans were primitive. Children playing with toys, they were about to learn how wrong they were. The determination turned away from the alien station and began its journey home. Behind them, the aliens celebrated. They thought they had just conquered another weak species without firing a shot. They had no idea that they had just made the biggest mistake in galactic history. Word count, 1,150. Admiral Choi Jin stood in the center of the United Earth Command war room. The room was deep underground in Geneva, behind walls of steel and concrete 3 meters thick. Around the huge table sat the most powerful people on Earth. Show them. The recording again, Jin said to his assistant. The lights dimmed and a hologram appeared in the air. It showed Captain Hyan's meeting with the aliens. Everyone watched in silence as the alien leader demanded 40% of Earth's resources. When the recording ended, Defense Minister Yun-ha slammed her hand on the table. 40%. They want to steal almost half of everything we have. It's worse than stealing, said General Nam-su from his seat. He was in charge of special operations. His job was to plan the impossible missions. They want to make us their pets, give us food and toys while they take everything valuable. Director Kang Bio from Intelligence was reading reports on her tablet. Our spies in deep space are sending interesting news. The aliens are already moving ships toward our solar system. They have 500 vessels gathering at the edge of our space. 500 ships, whispered President Yang Min. She was the elected leader of Earth, but in times like this, she listened to the military experts. How many ships do we have that can fight in space? Admiral Jin smiled. It was not a kind smile. That depends on what you mean by have, Madam President. Dr. Lim Wan looked up from his computer. He was the head of Earth's most secret project. Most people did not even know he existed. Should I tell them about Deep Strike? Tell us what? President Yang asked. Dr. Lim Wan stood up. He was a small man who looked like he belonged in a library, not a war room. For the past 20 years, we have been building ships. Special ships? Ships that most people don't know about. What kind of ships? Defense Minister Yunha asked. The kind that can destroy planets, Dr. Lim Wan said simply. The room became very quiet. Everyone stared at the small scientist. Explain? Admiral Jin said. Dr. Lim Wan pressed a button on his tablet. New holograms appeared in the air. They showed long, dark ships that looked like metal sharks. We call them Shadow-class dreadnoughts, he said. Each one is 2 kilometers long. Each one carries weapons that can break apart asteroids. Each one can hide from any scanner we know about. How many do we have? President Yang asked. 12, Dr. Lim Wan replied. Plus 50 smaller ships. All hidden in the outer solar system, all waiting for orders. General Namsu leaned forward. What kind of weapons are we talking about? Dr. Lim Wan changed the hologram. Now he showed a weapon that looked like a crystal flower. Gravity bombs. They can make tiny black holes that last for exactly 3 seconds. Long enough to tear apart anything within 1,000 kilometers. My God, whispered Minister Yunha. We also have plasma cannons that can cut through any metal, Dr. Lim Wan continued. And something we call reality anchors that can stop enemy ships from moving at light speed. Director Kang Bio looked confused. Why build all this in secret? Why not tell people? Admiral Jin answered. Because we hoped we would never need them. We built them in case we met hostile aliens. But we prayed we would meet friendly ones instead. Well, we didn't get friendly ones, General Namsu said. We got slavers. President Yang stood up and walked to the window. Outside, she could see the lights of Geneva. Millions of people living. Their normal lives. They had no idea that aliens wanted to make them slaves. What do we know about alien technology? She asked. Director Kang Bio smiled. Dr. Park Mina's scanner data was very interesting. The aliens have strong weapons, yes. But their technology is old. Very old? How old? Admiral Jin asked. Their computers are like our computers from 50 years ago. Their shields are simple energy barriers. Their weapons are basic plasma cannons. Nothing we can't handle, Dr. Lim Wan nodded. Our weapons can. Go through their shields like a hot knife through butter. Our computers can hack their systems in seconds. Our ships can appear and disappear before they know we are there. But they have 3,000 ships, President Yang said. Numbers don't always win wars, General Namsu replied. Sometimes one. Wolf can defeat 100 sheep. Admiral Jin walked to the center of the room. Here is what I think we should do. We give the aliens one more chance. We show them a small taste of human technology. Just enough to make them think twice. And if they don't back down? Minister Yunha asked. Admiral Jin's smile became cold. Then we show them what humans call overkill. 3 days later, Captain Bei Sun received his orders. He commanded the UES Silent Thunder, one of the new stealth destroyers. His ship was only 200 meters long, but it carried enough firepower to fight 10 alien vessels. Sir, said his weapons officer, we are detecting 50 alien ships entering the Proxima system. They are heading for the mining station. Bei Sun nodded. The mining station was empty. Humans had never built one there. But the aliens thought they were going to attack human civilians. They want to hurt innocent people to scare us, Bei Sun said to his crew. Let's show them why that's a bad idea. Meanwhile, on Earth, the leaders were still meeting. They had been talking for days about what to do. The aliens sent us another message, Director Kang Bio reported. They say we have 15 days left to surrender. If we don't, they will destroy our cities one by one until we obey. Destroy our cities? President Yang felt sick. They would kill millions of people. That's what they do, Admiral Jin said. We have records of 12 other species that refused to join them. Half of those species are now extinct. The other half are slaves. General Namsu stood up. Then we don't give them the chance. We hit them first, we hit them hard. We hit them so hard that they never want to fight humans again. But what if we lose? Minister Yunha asked. What if our secret weapons don't work? What if they have secret weapons too? Dr. Limwan shook his head. We won't lose. Our technology is so far ahead of theirs that it's not even a fair fight. It would be like bringing a machine gun to a sword. Fight, are you sure? President Yang asked. Absolutely sure, Dr. Limwan replied. The only reason they control so much space is because they attack weak, primitive species. They have never fought anyone who could fight back. Admiral Jin looked around the room. So what do we do? Do we surrender and become slaves? Or do we show these aliens what happens when they threaten humanity? The vote was unanimous. President Yang stood up. Send the message to all our hidden ships. Operation Deep Strike is now active, and may God help anyone who tries to make slaves of human beings. In the outer solar system, 12 massive ships received their orders. Their crews had been waiting for this moment for years. They had trained in secret. They had prepared for war. Now, finally, it was time to show the galaxy what humans could do when someone made them angry. The aliens thought they were about to conquer a primitive species. They were about to learn the difference between being primitive and being merciful. Word count, 1,150. Captain Bei Sun stood on the bridge of the UES Silent Thunder and watched the alien fleet approach. 50 warships moved through space like angry metal sharks. Each ship was 3 times bigger than his vessel. Their dark hulls were covered in weapon turrets and armor plating. Sir, they are trying to contact us, said Communications Officer Lida from her station. Put them through, Bei Sun said. He straightened his uniform and prepared to meet his first alien war commander. The main screen flickered and showed a creature that looked like a giant lizard wearing metal armor. Red scales covered its face and yellow eyes stared at the human captain with hatred. I am War Admiral Vexmore of the Soros Battle Fleet, the creature said in a voice like grinding rocks. You will surrender your ship immediately or we will destroy you. Bei Sun looked calm, but inside he felt excited. Finally, after years of training, he would get to test human weapons against alien ships. I am Captain Bei Sun of the United Earth. Ship Silent Thunder, he replied politely. I'm afraid I cannot surrender. I have orders to defend the system. The alien admiral made a sound that might have been laughter. Defend? You are one small ship against 50 battlecruisers. Are all humans this stupid? We're not stupid, Bei Sun said with a small smile. We're just very confident. Behind the alien admiral, other creatures were pointing at screens and making excited noises. Bei Sun could hear them talking about the primitive human vessel and how quickly they would destroy it. This is your last warning, human, Vexmore growled. Surrender now or die. Bei Sun looked at his weapons officer, Lieutenant Park Rowe. The young man was trying not to smile. He had been waiting 2 years to fire the new gravity cannons. War. Admiral Vexmore, Bei Sun said politely. This is your final warning. Withdraw immediately or face the consequences. The alien fleet erupted in what sounded like electronic laughter. On his screen, Bei Sun could see dozens of aliens pointing at him and making mocking gestures. Consequences? Vexmore roared. From one tiny ship? Human, you are about to learn why the Galactic Council rules this galaxy. All ships, open fire. Destroy that arrogant little vessel. 50 alien ships fired at once. The space around the Silent Thunder filled with bright plasma bolts and energy beams. The weapons looked impressive, creating colorful explosions that lit up the darkness, but nothing happened to the human ship. The Silent Thunder sat in the middle of the alien attack like a rock in a storm. Every plasma bolt and energy beam simply disappeared when it got close to the human vessel. Sir, reported Lieutenant Park Rowe, their weapons are having no effect on our gravitational shields. The plasma is being bent around us into normal space. An The alien flagship Dexmore was screaming at his weapons officers. Why are our weapons not working? Increase power. Fire everything, the alien fleet fired again. This time they used their strongest weapons. Massive energy cannons that could destroy asteroids lit up the darkness. But again, nothing touched the human ship. Interesting, Baysun said, watching the light show. Their weapons are even weaker than our intelligence report suggested. Lieutenant Park, please show our new friends what human weapons can do. But remember, we want to disable them, not destroy them. Yes, sir, Parkrow said happily, targeting all 50 ships. Firing gravity pulse cannons, the Silent Thunder fired its weapons. There was no bright flash or dramatic explosion. Instead, space itself seemed to twist around each alien ship. Reality bent like rubber being stretched. In exactly 12 seconds, all 50 alien vessels stopped moving. Their engines went dead, their weapons powered down, their shields collapsed. Even their lights went out. The alien ships were not destroyed. They were simply turned off, like someone had unplugged them from a wall. What did you do to us? Dexmore screamed over the radio. His voice was full of fear now instead of anger. We use gravity weapons to create tiny distortions in space-time. Around your ships, Baysun explained calmly. The distortions disrupted your power systems without damaging your hulls. Your crews are safe, but your ships cannot move or fight. Impossible, another alien voice shouted. No species has gravity weapons. The physics are too complex. Lieutenant? Parkrow laughed. Complex? We figured out gravity manipulation 50 years ago. Every human child learns about it in school. Baysun leaned forward in his chair. War Admiral, Dexmore, listen carefully. What you just experienced is what humans call a warning shot. We could have destroyed every ship in your fleet in the same 12 seconds. Instead, we chose to simply turn off your engines. You ... us all? Dexmore whispered. Very easily, Baysun confirmed. Our weapons don't just use gravity. We also have reality anchors that can lock you in normal space, plasma cutters that can slice your ships in half, and singularity bombs that can create temporary black holes. The alien admiral was quiet for a long moment. When he spoke again, his voice was much smaller. What do you want from us? We want you to carry a message back to your Galactic Council, Baysun said. Tell them that humans do not make good slaves. Tell them that we have weapons they cannot understand and ships they cannot see. Tell them that we prefer peace, but we are very, very good at war. And if the Council does not listen, Dexmore asked. Baysun's smile disappeared. Then they will learn what humans call overkill. And trust me, Admiral, you don't want to see that. On his ship, Dexmore was looking at damage reports. His engineers were telling him impossible things. The human weapons had somehow reached inside his ship's power core and simply turned it off without breaking anything. It was like magic. How long until we can repair the damage? He asked. That's just it, sir, his chief engineer replied. There is no damage. Our systems are just stopped. We don't know how to restart them. Baysun's voice came over the radio again. Admiral, we're sending you a small gift. It will restart your engines so you can return home. But remember our message. A tiny probe flew from the human ship to the alien flagship. When it touched the alien hull, all the lights came back on. The engines started working again. Dexmore stared at his screens in amazement. The humans had fixed his ships as easily as they had broken them. All vessels, he said quietly to his fleet, we are returning home immediately. Set course for Council space. Maximum speed. As the alien fleet limped away, Baysun recorded his mission report. Admiral Jin, he said to the camera, the demonstration was successful. The aliens now understand that they cannot defeat human technology, but I don't think they'll give up. Their pride is too strong. They'll probably send a much bigger fleet. Next time, he paused and looked out at the stars. I recommend we prepare for a full-scale war. Because something tells me the aliens are going to make this personal. Far away on the Galactic Council station, emergency meetings were already beginning. The impossible had happened. A single human ship had defeated 50 of their best warships without even trying. The council faced a choice: accept that humans were more advanced than them, or gather every ship in the galaxy for one final assault. Pride and fear would make their decision for them, and that decision would change the galaxy forever. Word count 1,150. Supreme Chancellor Mordock slammed his 6 arms on the council table. The giant insect's 4 eyes burned with rage as he stared at the hologram showing the destroyed alien fleet. 50 ships, he screamed. 50 of our best warships defeated. By one human vessel. How is this possible? War Admiral Vexmore stood in the center of the council chamber. His red scales had turned pale with fear. Around him sat representatives from every major species in the galaxy. They all stared at him like he had gone crazy. The humans have weapons we do not understand, Vexmore said quietly. They can bend space itself. They can turn off our ships without damaging them. Their technology is far beyond ours. Counselor Vexen of the Crystalline Collective made a sound like breaking glass. His crystal body flashed angry red colors. Impossible. We are the most advanced species in the galaxy. We have ruled space for 10,000 years. Then explain this, Vexmore shouted, pointing at the hologram. Explain how one small ship made my entire fleet helpless in 12 seconds. Fleet Marshal Zenthus rose from his seat. He was a tall, thin creature with gray skin and no hair. His species, the Vorthan, were known for being very smart and very proud. War Admiral, Zenthus said in a cold voice, I think you are lying. No primitive species could defeat our technology. You must have made mistakes. Your crews must have been cowards. Vexmore's eyes blazed with anger. My crews fought bravely. We fired everything we had. Their shields just absorbed all our weapons like they were nothing. Shields that can stop plasma cannons? Laughed Counselor Rathan. Weapons that can disable ships without destroying them? You're telling us fairy tales, Admiral. Supreme Chancellor Mordock stood up. His massive form towered over everyone else in the room. I agree with Fleet Marshal Zenthus. This human victory was luck or trickery. No species could advance so far without us knowing about it. But sir, Vexmore pleaded, what if I am telling the truth? What if the humans really do have better weapons than us? Then we will crush them with numbers, Mordock declared. Even if their technology is good, they are still just one small planet. We control thousands of worlds and millions of ships. Fleet Marshal Zenthus nodded. I propose we gather the entire galactic defense fleet, every ship from every member. World, 3,000 vessels. Even if the humans have magic weapons, they cannot fight the entire galaxy. Counselor Vex underscore and flashed bright white with excitement. Yes! We will show these upstart humans what real power looks like. We will burn their planet to ash and scatter their people across space as slaves. But in the corner of the chamber, intelligence. Director Yargoth was reading reports on his tablet. His tentacled face looked worried as he studied the data. Chancellor, he said quietly, I am receiving strange reports from our deep space monitors. What kind of reports? Mordock asked impatiently. We are detecting human ships throughout the galaxy, ships that should not exist. Our sensors show them moving at impossible speeds. And sir, there are a lot of them. The chamber became quiet. Everyone stared at the intelligence director. How many ships? Fleet Marshal Zenthus asked. Yargoth looked at his tablet again. At least 500, maybe more. They appear and, disappear before our sensors can get a clear reading. It's like they are made of shadows? 500 ships? Counselor Rathan hissed. That's impossible. The humans told us they only had 50 vessels. They lied, War Admiral Vexmore said grimly. Just like they lied about being weak and primitive, I tried to warn you. The humans are not what they seem. Supreme Chancellor Mordock waved his arms dismissively. Even 500 ships cannot defeat 3,000. And these reports are probably wrong anyway. Our sensors are the best in the galaxy. If there were human ships out there, we would see them clearly. Yargoth looked unconvinced. Sir, What if the human ships are using stealth technology we don't understand? What if they have been watching us this whole time? Stealth technology? Zen_Thomas laughed. We invented stealth fields. There is no way primitives could improve on our designs. But even as he spoke, more reports were coming in. Human ships had been spotted near important council worlds. They appeared for a few seconds, then vanished again. Some were as big as space stations. Others were small and fast like metal insects. Sir, Yar_Goth continued, there's something else. We intercepted a human transmission. It was encrypted, but we managed to decode part of it. What did it say? More_Doc demanded. It mentioned something called Operation Deep Strike, and it talked about ships with names like Shadow-class Dreadnought and Reality Anchor Cruiser. War Admiral Vexmore felt his blood turn cold. Dreadnoughts? How big are these ships? Unknown, Yar_Goth replied. But if humans are naming ships Dreadnought, they must be very large and very dangerous. For a moment, doubt crept into the chamber. Some of the counselors looked worried. What if the humans really were more advanced? What if they had been hiding their true strength? But Supreme Chancellor More_Doc's pride was too strong. He could not accept that his ancient, powerful council could be threatened by newcomers. Enough, he roared. I don't care if the humans have 1,000 ships. I don't care if they have magic weapons. We are the Galactic Council. We have ruled this galaxy since before their species learned to make fire. He turned to Fleet Marshal Zenthus. Gather every ship, call in every favor. Empty every shipyard. I want the largest fleet in galactic history assembled and ready for war. Yes, Chancellor, Zen_Thomas replied. How many ships should we gather? All of them, More_Doc said with deadly calm. Every single vessel that can fly and fight. 3,000 ships, 5,000 ships, 10,000 ships. I don't care. We will show these humans what happens when someone challenges the Council. Counselor Vex_ glowed bright with bloodthirsty excitement. And when we defeat them? More_Docs? Mandibles clicked together in what passed for a smile among his species. When we defeat them, we will make an example of their entire species. We will destroy their cities one by one until they beg for mercy. Then we will take 90% of everything they have and make the survivors work in our mines for 1,000 years. What if they surrender before we attack? Counselor Wrath_ asked. They won't, More_Doc replied. Their captain was too arrogant. Humans are too proud to admit defeat. They will fight us, and when they do, we will crush them so completely that no other species will ever dare challenge the Council again. As the counselors left to prepare for war, Intelligence Director Yar_Goth stayed behind. He looked at his reports again and felt very worried. The humans had been in space for less than 200 years. In that time, they had somehow built a secret fleet of advanced warships and spread them across the galaxy. They had developed weapons that could defeat Council technology easily. Most worrying of all, they had done it all in secret. The Council's vast spy network had seen nothing. Their deep space monitors had detected nothing. The humans had hidden an entire spacefaring civilization. Right under their noses. Yar_Goth had seen many wars in his long life. He had watched the Council defeat dozens of species. But he had never seen anything like this. The humans were not just technologically advanced, they were smart. They were careful. They were patient. And now the Council was about to attack them with everything they had. Yar_Goth had a terrible feeling that the Council was about to make the biggest mistake in galactic history. Word count 1,150. Admiral Song Wu stood on the bridge of the UES Retribution and watched the largest fleet in galactic history approach the edge of the solar system. 3,000 alien ships stretched across space like a metal wall. Each ship was massive, bristling with weapons and armor. Sir, reported Commander Yun-Ji from the tactical station, enemy fleet composition confirmed. We count 3,200 vessels, everything from battle cruisers to planet killers. They brought their entire military. Song Wu nodded. Calmly, he was an old man with gray hair and calm eyes. He had fought in every major human conflict for 30 years. But this would be his greatest battle. "Any response to our surrender demand?" he asked. "Yes, sir," said Communications Officer Kim Wan. "The enemy commander is broadcasting on all frequencies. He wants to speak with you personally. Put him through." The main screen flickered and showed a creature that looked like a nightmare made real. War Commander Thalaxes was 8 feet tall with black scales and burning red eyes. Scars covered his face and metal spikes grew from his skull. "I am War Commander Thalaxes of the Combined Galactic Fleet," the alien snarled. "You will. Surrender your pathetic solar system immediately, or we will reduce every planet to radioactive dust." Song Wu looked at the creature with no fear in his eyes. "I am Admiral Song Wu of the United Earth Defense Force. I'm afraid we cannot surrender. This is our home." Thalaxes laughed, a sound like grinding metal. "Your home? Look around you, human. Do you see the size of my fleet? We have enough firepower to destroy 100 worlds." "You have what, 50 ships?" Song Wu smiled. Around him, his bridge crew was trying not to laugh. They could see what the aliens could not. "Commander Thalaxes," Song Wu said politely, "you are correct that we only have 50 ships visible to your sensors. But I think you should know something about human military doctrine. What could primitives teach the Galactic Council about war?" Thalaxes roared. "We can teach you about the difference between what you can see and what is actually there," Song Wu replied. He nodded to Commander Yunji to cloak the fleet. In the space around the 50 visible human ships, reality seemed to ripple like water. Suddenly, the darkness filled with massive vessels that had been invisible moments before. 500 human dreadnoughts appeared at once. Each ship was 2 kilometers long and bristled with weapons that looked like they belonged in a science fiction movie. They had been hiding in plain sight, their stealth systems making them completely invisible to alien sensors. On the alien flagship, alarms started screaming. Officers were shouting reports about ships appearing from nowhere and impossible. "Sensor readings? 500 ships?" Thalaxes whispered, his red eyes wide with shock. "Where did they come from?" "They've been here the whole time," Song Wu explained calmly. "We've been watching you approach for 6 hours. We counted your ships, analyzed your weapons, and planned our response. Would you like to reconsider your surrender demand?" Thalaxes recovered from his shock quickly. 500 ships against 3,000? You are still outnumbered 6 to 1. We will crush you. "Numbers don't always matter in war," Song Wu said sadly. "You're about to learn why." The alien commander's face twisted with rage. "All ships attack. Destroy every human vessel. Show them the price of defying the Galactic Council." 3,000 alien ships opened fire at once. The space between the fleets filled with energy beams, plasma bolts, and missile swarms. It was the largest space battle in galactic history, but the human ships just sat there. UNMOV and G. Every alien weapon struck gravitational shields that bent the attacks away into empty space. Plasma bolts curved around human vessels like water around rocks. Energy beams were absorbed and converted into power for human systems. "Impossible," Thalaxes screamed. "No shields can stop that much firepower." "Our shields don't just stop your weapons," explained Captain Ruji from the UES Retribution. "They use your attacks to make our ships stronger. Thank you for charging our weapon systems." Song Wu shook his head sadly. "Commander Thalaxes, you forced our hand. You came to our home with 3,000 ships and threatened to destroy our families. You've given us no choice but to respond." "Respond with what?" Thalaxes snarled. "Your shields are good, but you cannot fight 3,000 ships." "You're right," Song Wu agreed. "We can't fight 3,000 ships." He paused and looked directly at the alien commander. "So we're going to destroy them instead. All weapons. Fire at will. Show them what humans call overkill." The human fleet fired as one. What happened next was impossible to describe. Human weapons didn't just shoot energy or bullets. They shot physics itself. Gravity cannons created tiny black holes. That lasted exactly 3 seconds. Long enough to crush entire alien squadrons into metal balls the size of basketballs. Reality anchors locked alien ships in normal space, preventing them from moving or dodging. Then plasma cutters that burned hotter than stars sliced the trapped vessels into neat pieces. Temporal disruptors made time move differently around enemy ships. Some alien vessels aged 1,000 years in 10 seconds, crumbling to dust. Others were frozen in time, unable to move or fight. The most terrifying weapons were the singularity bombs. They created temporary black holes that ate everything within. 1,000 kilometers, then disappeared, leaving only empty space where dozens of ships had been. The battle lasted exactly 4 minutes and 37 seconds. When it was over, the entire alien fleet was gone. Not destroyed, simply gone? Some ships had been crushed by gravity. Some had been sliced apart by plasma. Some had been eaten by black holes. Some had been aged to death by time weapons. A few lucky vessels had only been disabled, their crews alive but their ships powerless. War Commander Thulaxes stared at his screens in total shock. His mighty fleet of 3,000 ships had been reduced to floating wreckage in less than 5 minutes. How? He whispered. How is this possible? Songwoo's voice came over the radio, still calm and polite. Commander, your weapons are about 200 years behind ours. Your shields are primitive. Your ships are slow and clumsy. Fighting you is like a lion fighting a field mouse. But we are the Galactic Council. We rule the galaxy. You ruled the galaxy? Songwoo corrected. Gently. Past tense, that just changed. Captain Ruji leaned forward in his chair. Sir, should we destroy the remaining ships? Songwoo shook his head. No, Captain, we've made our point. Commander Thulaxes, we're going to let you and the other survivors return home. I want you to carry a message to your council. What message? Thulaxes asked in a broken voice. Tell them that humans prefer peace, but we are very, very good at war. Tell them that we have weapons they cannot imagine and ships they cannot see. Most importantly, tell them that what they just witnessed is what humans call a measured response. Measured response? Thulaxes could barely speak. If you ever threaten Earth again, Songwoo said, his voice turning cold as space, we'll show you what humans call overkill. And trust me, Commander, you don't want to see that. Word count. 1,150. Director Lee Sang walked through the halls of what used to be Galactic Council Station Epsilon 7. The walls were still the same strange alien metal, but now human flags hung beside them. The floating lights had been replaced with normal bulbs. That didn't hurt human eyes. 3 months had passed since the Battle of Seoul, 3 months since humanity had destroyed the largest fleet in galactic history in less than 5 minutes. The galaxy was still trying to understand what had happened. Sir, said his assistant, Lieutenant Ko Min, the delegations from the former council species have arrived. They're waiting in conference room 1, Lee Sang nodded. He was tired. Since the battle, dozens of alien species had been sending messages to Earth. All of them wanted the same thing. Mercy. He entered the conference room and found himself facing the same creatures who had once demanded humanity's surrender. But now they looked very different. Their proud postures were gone. Their threatening voices had become whispers. Supreme Chancellor Mordag sat at the table with his 6 arms folded. The massive insect's 4 eyes looked defeated. Next to him sat the other former council leaders. Councillor Vexen of the Crystalline Collective, Councillor Rathan of the Soros Federation, and Fleet Marshal Zenthus of the Vorthan Empire. Honored Director, Mordag said quietly, we come to offer our complete surrender. Lee Sang sat down across from them. We don't want your surrender. The aliens looked confused. Vexen's crystal body flashed uncertain colors. Then, what do you want from us? We want to talk, Lee Sang said simply. We want to understand why you thought slavery was acceptable. We want to know if you can change. Rathan hissed softly. You could destroy all our worlds easily. Why do you offer mercy? Because destroying you wouldn't help anyone, Lee Sang replied. Dead species can't learn from their mistakes. Dead civilizations can't become better. Ambassador Shin Yu entered the room carrying a tablet full of reports. She had been traveling throughout former council space for weeks, meeting with different alien governments. Director, she said, I have the latest reports from the colony worlds. The former slave species are celebrating their freedom, but they're also scared. They don't know how to govern themselves after centuries of council rule, Li Sang nodded. This was the problem they had expected. The Galactic Council had controlled so many species for so long that most of them had forgotten how to be independent. What do they want from us? He asked. Protection, Shin Yu replied. Guidance. Some of them want to join a new alliance with Earth as the leader. Fleet Marshal Zenthus leaned forward. Honored humans, my people have ruled space for 10,000 years. We understand government and law. Perhaps we could help organize these new free worlds. Li Sang studied the tall gray alien. Why would you want to help? A few months ago you were planning to enslave us? Zenthus looked ashamed. Because we were wrong, completely wrong. We thought strength meant taking what we wanted from weaker species. You have shown us that true strength means protecting those who cannot protect themselves. Counselor Vexen flashed bright blue colors that meant agreement among his people. The humans could have destroyed us all. Instead, you offer us a chance to redeem ourselves. This is wisdom we did not expect from, forgive me, from a younger species. We're all young compared to the universe, Li Sang said with a smile. Age doesn't automatically make you wise, actions do. The door opened and Admiral Li Haiyan entered. He had been promoted after the successful first contact mission that started everything. Now he commanded Earth's new diplomatic protection fleet. Director, he reported, I have news from the frontier regions. Several former council species have been attacking each other now that the central government is gone. They're fighting over resources and territory. This was another problem humanity had foreseen. When a large empire collapses, the pieces often fight each other. How bad is it? Li Sang asked. Not terrible yet, Haiyan replied. But it could get worse. These species have old grudges against each other. Without the council keeping them in line, they might start major wars. Ambassador Shin Yu looked worried. Should we intervene militarily? No, Li Sang said firmly. We're not going to become the new council. We won't rule the galaxy by force, Mordek spoke up. Then how will you keep the peace? Li Sang smiled. We're going to try something that apparently hasn't been done in this galaxy for a long time. We're going to ask Nuzli. 3 days later, representatives from over 200 species gathered on the former council station. It was the largest diplomatic meeting in galactic history. Species that had been enemies for thousands of years sat in the same room. Li Sang stood at the center of the great hall and addressed them all. Friends, he began, we are here to create something new. Not an empire built on fear and slavery, but an alliance built on cooperation and mutual respect. A representative from the Aquatic Federation raised a tentacled arm. What makes you think this will work? Species have different needs, different goals. Conflict is inevitable. Conflict is natural, Li Sang agreed. But war is not the only way to resolve conflict. On Earth, we have over 200 nations with different cultures, religions, and governments. We don't always agree, but we've learned to talk instead of fight. A crystalline being from the Outer Rim spoke up. But you humans have the strongest military in the galaxy. Why should we trust that you won't become like the old council? Admiral Haiyan stepped forward. Because we're going to prove it, Earth is voluntarily limiting our military presence. We'll keep enough ships to defend against real threats, but we won't build an empire. What about trade? Asked a furry creature from the inner worlds. The council controlled all major trade routes. Who will manage commerce now? You will, Ambassador Shin Yu replied. Each species will control their own trade. We'll help establish neutral zones for multi-species commerce, but no one government will control galactic trade. For hours, they discussed and debated. There were arguments about borders, resources, and ancient grievances. But slowly, Something new began to take shape. By the end of the week, they had created the Galactic Cooperation Alliance. It was not an empire or a federation. It was something simpler and more powerful, a promise that species would try to solve problems with words instead of weapons. As the meeting ended, Morduk approached Lee Sang privately. "Director," the former Supreme Chancellor said, "I must ask you something. Your people have weapons that can destroy entire star systems. You could rule this galaxy as gods. Why do you choose to be merely equal partners?" Lee Sang thought for a moment before answering. "Do you know what humans call overkill, Chancellor?" "Excessive force," Morduk replied. "More power than necessary to win." "That's one definition," Lee Sang said. "But there's another. Overkill can also mean having so much power that you don't need to use it. Having weapons so advanced that your enemies become allies instead of trying to fight you." He looked out the window at the stars where human ships patrolled alongside vessels from dozens of other species. "You asked why we choose to be partners instead of rulers. It's because we learned something important about power. The strongest person in the room isn't the one who can beat everyone else up. It's the one who can make everyone else want to be on their side." Morduk considered this wisdom. "And if someone threatens this new alliance? If old empires try to rise again?" Lee Sang smiled, but his eyes were cold as space. "Then they'll learn what humans really call overkill. And trust me, Chancellor, they won't enjoy the lesson." As the former council leaders left to rebuild their civilizations as free societies, Earth representatives began the long work of building a better galaxy. It wouldn't be easy. There would be problems, conflicts, and challenges, but for the first time in galactic history, the strongest military force in space was choosing to use its power to protect rather than conquer. Humanity had shown the galaxy that true strength wasn't the ability to destroy your enemies. It was the wisdom to turn them into friends. And that, perhaps, was the most human thing of all. Word count 1150.